All right, guys, let's talk about mono versus stereo. What is the difference? What are these two things? We've heard of them, and what do they mean for us as music producers? That's a very good place to start. Anyways, I'm quickly going to shift to my Inquisar theme, right? Let's go. Right. So, mono is single, stereo is double, it's two. All right. So I am going to give you examples. So one of the best examples of mono versus stereo is if you're listening on a pair of headphones, right? And somebody is saying something when they're talking to you and you're listening to your best tunes. You remove one of the earphones out. You've gone from stereo to mono. That's it. Mono means single channel, stereo means dual channel. The way that we perceive stereo music or stereo audio is left and right. Okay? It's as simple as that. But there is a difference and it comes in mixing as well. The reason that I'm teaching you how to, uh, the reason that I'm teaching you this is because mixing and listening in mono is a skill that you must master being in music production. For example, here is the biggest difference that you see when you are doing music production is that when you record an audio, when you're recording a physical sound, it will always be recorded in, you've guessed it, it will be recorded in mono. Why? Because remember I told you, I gave you the example that when you're putting on headphones, you take one of them out. Let's take these. Stereo, this is mono. All right. Now, if I give you an example of this mic, for example, okay, I'm speaking into it. How many mics are there? Because we call them a pair of headphones. This is not a pair of microphones. So, is the microphone mono or is the microphone stereo? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. If you said it is mono, then you are correct. It is mono because it is single, right? Because it is by itself. There is no left, there is no right. Of course, it may perceive sounds differently, but I'm going to show you exactly how it is mono. I'm going to press arm. All right. I'm going to start recording. And what is happening? All of a sudden, there is only single track. What do you mean single track, right? I'll give you an example. I'll select this part. I'll render it. We'll talk about rendering later. I'm gonna go to my I'm gonna do it on the desktop. I'm gonna name it untitled. I'm gonna let it be. It rendered it. Right. Here's my untitled file. Bring it back here. Right. Now what has happened? What has actually happened? It has given us double tracks. All of a sudden, this is stereo. But why is that? Because even though we are recording in mono, we perceive all sounds in stereo. What do you like? So you might be confused. Okay, so you record in mono, but when you bring it from outside, the same audio, if you listen to it back to back, this is going to be same audio. So I'm not going to play it back for you, as you can see. So why does this happen? This happens because now that you are listening to the levels, you're looking at the levels and the gains here, right? Mostly levels, right? Now you may record in mono, we export everything in stereo. So you might be wondering, okay, so what is happening? So you don't understand what this actually means. This means even though we may be working with audio as a single channel, right? Because this is a single channel. Why is it a single channel? It is a single channel because the microphone, the source is mono. So obviously when it is being recorded, it is also mono. But every time we export something out of our DAW, so every time we export something out of our DAW, like turn it into an audio file, it turns into a stereo as you just saw. But why is that? It is because everything that you record, everything that you hear is in perceived stereo. All right, so now I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to mute this, right? And you've seen that. I'm going to pan all of it to the left, right? This is still single. Press home to go back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to render it one more time. It did that. Take this untitled 001. What has happened? All of a sudden, this right channel, which is going to be left and right, the right has closed. All right, only the left is here. What's gonna happen if I do this? Pan completely to the right. All right, we're gonna talk about panning in a different section. Now you will hear this. All right, so it has gone. There it is. That's the file. I just brought the same file back in. Don't make that mistake. And I'm going to delete this file. Just wanted to show you that I too can make mistakes. Right. So the reason I made a mistake again. Why? What did I make the mistake of? This was not muted. Right. If I mute this, I'm going to delete this again. I can make mistakes. I wanted to show you that. Right. Quite literally. So it's completely all to the right. This is completely all to the left. And now this is stereo. So this is what is known as implied stereo. Now, one of the most important things that you need to learn in Reaper, which is a really good tool, is that even if you if you go and click view and master track, either you can click here and everything will become mono, or you can, if you have this floating mixer master here, which I do not, I like to have it here, and if you click this, it will toggle mono. All of a sudden, even though you've panned everything left and right, which you will see the importance of it in the later chapters, but I just want you to know that everything that we record is in mono, and everything that we export out is in stereo, because we always perceive music in left and right, so that is why it is stereo. Now, what about guitars? Let me show you. Let me grab you my guitar. This is my bass, right? One hole, right? One jack. So when there is one, just like the mic, there is only one cable, there is only one everything. What is it going to be? Is it going to be mono, or is it going to be a stereo? Correct, it's gonna be mono, because if you were to record the bass right now, you would get a mono track. And that is the difference between mono and stereo recording, actually. So that is the importance of mono and stereo, something that you should be aware of and not be surprised when you see something like this come up. All right, and I'll give you the reasons why we record in why it is important that you, and in the section where I teach you how to get the files ready for mixing, you will understand the importance of it as well. And it is super important during mixing to be able to mix in mono. I hope that made sense. It's just a theoretical one, so I hope you understood everything that I taught you here. If not, ask me or send me a DM on Instagram. And another quick example that I would like to give to you is of recording in your phone. So if you open the voice recorder and you hit record, what does it show? It shows you a single track. It's mono. Why? Because it has one microphone. But these days phones have two speakers, so the output where the audio comes out of is again stereo, so it's everywhere. So it's not just two DAW, it's not just in a DAW, it is always in a that's the kind of language that we've, like, that's the kind of standard we have adopted. However, if you were to look at a speaker that is a mono block, or like let's say like these like Bluetooth. So if you were to look at a Bluetooth speaker, so if it has two speakers in it, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Then it is more. If it's more than one, then it's a stereo. Then, but if it is just a singular speaker, like most Bluetooth speakers are, it's a mono. So I want you to do that exercise. Do you see one speaker? Do you see two speakers? If you see anything more than one, that's a stereo. It doesn't matter how well or worse or how badly they are placed. It is, if it's more than one field, it is stereo. So I hope you understood this very simple concept. We record in mono, but we export and perceive music in stereo, even though it may be mono.